Welcome to the Deep Return podcast with Gayatri, Lindsey, Robertson. This is a space where we will talk about our journeys home back to ourselves, about how to realign, to remember who we are, and to stay in a high resonance and frequency. Welcome. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Deep Return podcast. And I'm delighted to introduce today Tibi. Hello, Tibi, and welcome.
Hello, thank you for the invitation, and hello, everybody.
So Tibi met our dear friend Jim. So if you've watched the first and third episodes, Jim did a workshop at the Into the Wild Festival in the UK. And Tibi went along and met Jim and experienced the workshop. So we're going to start there, and then we'll hear more about Tibi's journey and what he does as well. But I'd like to start because that was, is a nice link from our previous conversations. So Tibi, tell us about the workshop and your experience of Into the Wild.
I met Jim before workshop. We had a very nice chat in one tent, in one tent around the fire, with chai, tea, and yeah, we immediately click each other, and he invited me to his workshop. What was about speech, about talking, what was nice and playful. But the night before, we had a very good chat, and where I share my unique experience from the dark room therapy, which probably very resonate with him.
So tell us more about the dark room. That's really interesting, and also what you got from the workshop.
From the workshop, I'm playful, and we play, and it's also helped me to understand what I want. One of the game was that we are like nine wishes. That what is the, if we have the power, what do we wish? And it could be for us or for all world, and that was make me think about life, and again to thinking about my priority, and also about that reason to be here.
Fantastic, thank you. And tell us a bit about yourself and what you're doing now, for instance.
My name is Tibi. I'm originally from Czechoslovakia. I'm Slovak. I live for nearly 20 years here in the UK, in Kent, Tunbridge Wells. My original plan was come here for a couple of years, learn English, and come back to home with perfect English. However, I like English culture. I like here everything, and I stay here because I see also my mission here. My mission is help people, and with some knowledge, with some concepts. And England is a very good place to broadcast the knowledge globally, because here we are speaking global language. And also the London is very close, and London is obviously one of the most cultural center of this planet. So I'm very glad to be here, and lots of things happen in London.
Absolutely, and that's, I feel very blessed that I've been living in London for a long time now, and the amount of amazing teachers and opportunities that you get here is fantastic. So if they're not living here, many teachers come to London and do workshops. So we're really blessed, and it's interesting to hear people who've come, as you said, come to learn the English and then was going to head home, but you've been here for 20 years now. So yeah, and tell me about the sort of types of knowledge that you're talking about. What kind of wisdom traditions, or do you enjoy everything and you're coming up with something new, or what's your thing? Tell us more, Tibi.
I'm studying with open mind. I'm studying martial arts all my life, but not just martial arts, but I'm also a dancer, and I care about health. Or 20 years ago, I used to work as a massage therapist, and generally how to help people, how to move healthier and lighter and happier, because movement is one of the way mm, how we manifest our spirit. So movement is very important. This is how life is very characteristic for life, generally to move. And I 15 years ago, I found a very unique concept, which a modern version calls Systema, and it comes from Cossacks. And Cossacks are a very interesting tribe because they maintain very, very ancient knowledge. I believe that the knowledge is from pre-Christian era, from the time when our civilization, I would call it a Vedic civilization. So we are Indo-European civilization, other name is Vedic civilization. And in Europe, our roots was suppressed, so we lost lots of very ancient knowledge, and now we see the Vedic civilization. When we want to pick up the knowledge from Vedic civilization, we look into India. However, in Cossacks, they maintain this ancient knowledge, and we are not aware of the knowledge. And when I found it, I was like, wow, this is that treasure. And I want to share this knowledge not just with the martial artists, with warriors, but with everybody, because this knowledge is for all of us. And the main knowledge is that we are actively working with two powers. One is the shrinking power, closing power, and other is opening and expanding power. And unfortunately, today we are not aware of these powers. Therefore, lots of us are closed and shrunk. And therefore, we have the problem with the backache. We wear out of joints, and also emotionally, we are more likely have a stress, fear, anxiety, depression, etc. When we open, when we expand, we are happier. We open to unite, to love each other. We open to have curiosity, be happy. So this is very important aspect, not just for body, but also for our emotions and mind. And more or less nobody is working with this aspect. And Cossacks come also with a very interesting concept, which calls pravilo, and its construction where we lie down, we have special straps, and it pulls us up, and it's the most holistic stretching and expanding, decompressing of all body. And so now I'm going around the festivals with this, and one of my life mission is to spread this beautiful concept. And other aspect which is very important is going very closely together with expanding and shrinking, is the fluid body and fluid mind. Because when we shrunk, the contracting power suppress flow, and when we open, it's much easy to flow us, and we have like very nice and supple body, but not just fluid body, but also fluid mind. Is much easy for us to accept what the universe brings us, be happy with this, and rather flow than resist.
Absolutely love that. Thank you. And I would love if people who are listening and watching, can you give maybe like something that you would do with a beginner, like, you know, they're coming along to one of your workshops, and it's like, how do you start them off? Something somebody could actually listen to now, and it's safe for them to have a little go at home. You got anything that you could, maybe an example?
Yes, yes. I can share one of the basic exercise which show us the quality. So you can put your arms, open your arms next to each other. It could be like this, but to see myself, I put it little bit more here, such that it's in one line, and try to touch with fingers as far as possible. Yeah, so that means the fingers is not like this, but there is really desire to touch. Visualize for that every millimeter you have you reach something what you really want. Yeah? And normally if we do it, people do it, let's say for 20%. So put there more willpower and expand a little bit more. Maybe you can start to feel a little bit tickle bit around, and put the 40%. Yeah, it can start to be warm, all this line, and put a 50%. Now it could be a little bit painful. It can be quite intense, like when you're going to the gym. Let's do 60%, proper workout 70%, and for a couple of seconds 80%. Breathe, and relax. So I'm sure that most of you feel that a little bit kind of a pain in ligaments and tendons, and that's the moment when we strengthen our ligaments and tendons, and we create power to expand, because usually we don't know that we can expand. We are moving just by contraction of muscles, what create pressure, and therefore we live under pressure. So to balance ourselves is also very good to open up and expand. And then other aspect how to expand is to expand to the sky, because if you expand to the sky, you create more space between your disc and your joints, and you share your body weight also in tension, not just in pressure, what release pressure from your joint, and you will be happier and healthier, and you make stronger tensegrity. Tensegrity is very important physical physical construction, how we share our body mass also in tension, and we create it from inside. So it's very important. Now you can, same way, and just putting fingers, you can all the time pull your crown to the sky and create this expansion power. And very briefly, it's also important to sometimes switch to peripheral vision, because most of the time when we have open eyes, we spend with focus, narrow vision. When we are reading or watching mobiles, TV, even we watch each other, we narrow our vision. And that's switch us to the narrowing quality. And I believe that there is also different center in the brain which is active when we have like focus vision than when we expand. So for example, if you're working have a lot of work in front of the computer, then I would recommend sometimes, I don't know, 20 minutes or half an hour, expand like the sun and switch to peripheral vision, and to see everything around. Ideally, if you can see out of the window, to have a nice view, ideally in trees, nature, or something like this, to expanding to balance ourselves, because gravitational force is shrinking us, and that's passive force that's happen even if we don't do anything, plus our lifestyle, it's everything is shrinking us. And from this point of view, we are living in epidemic of the closing. And when we close, we are also separate from oneness. So we are less less happy, because happiness comes with when we open, and we open to unite with whole universe, but especially with each other. So when we are open, also our relationship are nicer and better. And yeah, I wish everybody to be open and have that beautiful experience from Pravilo, because the Pravilo provide us experience of very profound opening. What is a beautiful feeling. I even believe that many people are taking drugs to be open. We have natural desire to open up. We just don't know how to do it. So I hope that in the future more people will be aware of the shrinking power and will know how to consciously open up and expand, because yeah, it's very nice.
Oh, that was absolutely brilliant. Thank you. And I was doing that stretch and I was really feeling it. And anyone who's listened to any of the podcasts, I always mention the thing that brought me into my body and started my journey back to myself was actually Tai Chi and Qigong. And I studied with teachers for about 20 years, and I love all of that. And it, as you say very correctly, the shrinking, and especially with all the screens, and even now the screens are small because we're looking at mobiles, so we're not even on the big screens anymore. We're just like everything's becoming more minute, and that contraction, and some people don't even have a view, so they might be in a building, especially if they're at work, they're on a screen, and they're not even near a window or anything, so they don't get to do those eye exercises and that peripheral vision. And just for me, because I wear glasses, when I most of the time I take them off, I put them on my head, so it's only certain times that I have to put them on. So when I don't need them, I always take them off, because glasses deteriorate your vision. And there are lots of eye exercises to do, etc., to sort of strengthen the muscles and things. So this strengthening, and I had a lady last night in the class I was teaching, and she had really bad back, and it's like, come on, get some movement going on, and she had some emotional stuff which made sense why her back was burdened. So the emotions, if not released, and she has a lot on, and it's like, yes, well, that's going to increase to your back, etc., etc. So these things they sort of pile up on people, and then it's just like how to start unwinding and start, because of the contraction, and there's often a lot of discomfort. So sometimes when the relaxation starts, I know through sound baths, sometimes I'll say you might get pain because the sound will start releasing the contraction of the muscles and etc. And it can be painful if you were contracted for a long period of time. But it's like a nice pain because it's releasing. So absolutely brilliant. And I love it when people will put like things like reminders on their phone or calendar to go, okay, take a drink break and have a stretch. So important. And the more that the culture, that it's the norm to take breaks, relax, have a little shakeout, whatever it is, or go for a little walk. When you have a lunch break, take it. Don't stay at your desk and eat a sandwich. Go outside, and maybe have cooked food, like proper food, not just something from the supermarket, which is rubbish. And just do your best. And for me, especially when I started learning Tai Chi, I'd like at the beginning, I didn't have many moves, so I practiced maybe 5 minutes a day. And I used to write it on my little calendar, how many minutes, just to motivate me. So by the end of the month, I go, oh, yes, every day was full, or okay, I missed a few days, that's all right. So when I first started out, it was just like, okay, I'll do a little bit every day. And it felt really good. So yeah, tell us more about, the things that have come into your life and shifted things, maybe what you were like when you were younger, and what were the things that came and really helped you on your way, and the teachers and wisdoms?
Before, I would like to say that I'm also doing Qigong, and same Qigong based on the shrinking and expanding power as well, especially that one which I'm doing with Master Sam Chin, which call Zhangqin Dao, and there is a very good method how to open and expand. It's a little bit different because in the qigong the yin tissue is shrinking inside into tantiem. Okay, it's lower, but I show it here like it's sucking in the tantiem and expanding from Migman, and it's making this this circulation of energy. And in the Kazakhs it's more like a pulsation, like sunflower open and close, or like breathing, or like hard. Both concept is beautiful, and both concept I uh, I synergize both concept into me, and I'm teaching both. So now about me. When I was younger, I was very competitive. I want to win everything, and I want to like who eat first food, who will be there first, this, and I want to be best. And now I feel like the competitive energy, I don't like it anymore. I like it is a little bit like separate us, and it's clear the energy which I don't like. I like now. I mean, I have desire to connect with everything around me, and to harmonize and to unite, to be part of oneness, and deeper, and more profoundly. And also, when I was younger, I was a little bit short fuses. I think that most of people are more short fuses when they're younger. And I remember that I was around, I don't know, 22 or something like that. And we had argument with my girlfriend, and she started crying. And I look at her, I said, "Oh my God, Tibi, look at it. What you're doing, you're hurting that person which love you such a nice way. And how you can do it? I mean, it hurts not physically, obviously, just emotionally." And then I was thinking about me, and you also hurting your brothers, your mom, your dad, and generally people around you. And also, what is very important to be, you are hurting yourself. And I was thinking about it, and I said, "Oh my God, I cannot live like that. I need to do something with myself." And I start consciously changing my character, my quality, and I I still do it. I just want to be the loving person. And it is, I would like to appeal to everybody, like, please don't accept it. If you are somehow, some people say that, "Oh, that's me, I'm like that, and yeah, accept me or let it me." No, we have the consciousness, we have power to change our quality on very deep level, and it's worth it to make nicer, the world nicer place to people around us, and also for ourselves, because from this perspective the life is nicer. So please do your best. I know that we cannot change it like this, but very slowly we can change the course to be nicer. So please try, everybody, to be nicer, and we can do a lot. We can do a lot. I see it on myself. And of course, sometimes they are not perfect. That sometimes I still can be angry, and sometimes I act that I'm not proud of me, but I become still more and more aware, and and hopefully nicer.
Lovely. I love that. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about getting older, is that we have had time to change. And because we've studied and whichever methods that people find interesting, there is wonderful wisdom in, for instance, martial arts. I studied a lot of sound stuff and things. And also when you cultivate friendships with people, the people that are around you influence you the most. Those, they say, I think there's like 5 people, the 5 closest people to you have the most influence on you. And also you have influence on them as well. So I love the fact, because I got into Tai Chi, I met some wonderful people, and then they go, oh, go do Reiki, go do crystals, go. And all the people you meet in these kind of environments are generally those people cultivating themselves, doing their best to be the best versions of themselves. I used to read a lot more when I was younger. And one of the, quite a few books changed my belief systems. And one of them was the 4 Agreements. And when I read the 4 Agreements, and it said, don't take anything personally, and it described why not to and the benefits of not, I was like, wow, how on earth do you not take things personally? Because I grew up and I was taught to take things personally. And I didn't even know that the idea that you didn't have to. So I was like, wow, this is deep. And of the 4 Agreements, that one was the one I had to work on the most to shift, because that one was pretty hardwired in me until, I started working on it. And now I do my best, which is also one of the 4 Agreements. Just do your best, and your best will change depending on how you are that day. But doing your best is lovely, because it's like, okay, this is where I am, this is where I want to be, and I'm working towards that, and I'm doing my best to get there. And I might not be there yet, and that's all right. So it's like being kind, compassionate to yourself until such point you have integrated something, like not taking things personally. And that's just who you are now, because you've cultivated that aspect. And yes, I 100% agree when people go, oh, just, this is who I am, as though it's set and they can't change it. They're just very lazy and they don't want to. And they usually, just want people, who are often very nice and sensitive and loving and kind, will do everything for them until they wake up to, like, actually, no, this person is taking my energy and is using me. And kind people have to also create boundaries. I also was taught, be a good little girl, be nice to everybody, which means be a people pleaser, which is the archetype there, which is incredibly unhelpful. So if you're a nice person, people will often take advantage. So you can be a loving, kind person with strong, healthy boundaries and speak truth. So if somebody comes along and tries to say something and put you down or gaslight you or whatever it might be, and I had a mini experience of that the other day. I was explaining one of my passion projects, which is Sicily, and this person just tried to start tearing this idea down. I didn't let them speak for very long, because as soon as they did, I stopped them and I go, no, actually, this is the truth of it. And I wasn't going to allow them to say anything more, because of all their negativity, they're not going to place on me or my project. But I hopefully did it in a way that I just cut it off. But I wasn't rude, I wasn't unkind, but I just was very strong to say, no, this is what it is. I don't need to hear what you were saying. I didn't say those words, but that was my intent. So yeah, I've done a lot of cultivating, and I've still got plenty to do, and I know that. I know where I'm good at things, and I also know where things that I'm still working on to be even better. So back to you, Tibi.
Yeah, so Lao is not weak as people think, and Lao is not just pleasing. Lao is quite strong and very times quite strict. Yeah, and the boundaries, it's very important. I had like recently I had the story about it. About boundaries that I show my boundaries, and people was shocked of that how I dare. It was on the one festival. It was Contact Improvisation Festival. But I love contact improvisation. That's amazing thing. And we was in the circle, like four of us, and we're supposed to listen. And that's somebody next group was doing any exercise which I showed them before, like open without the private, without construction, just pull the limbs. And I say, yeah, hello, yeah. Look at the next and wave. And the guy who was offended, you don't pay me full attention. You're waving there, and you must things. I said, no, actually. I don't need to give you attention. I can give you my attention, but you have no right for my attention. My attention is a gift, and if I'm a free man, I choose where I turn my attention. And I can give you attention, but I don't need to. This is my boundary. Start with my attention. And we're talking about attention. I have to say that the school, the education system is very sick, in my opinion. I remember if something was traumatizing in my childhood, it was the school. I was looking forward to school. That I was hungry to learn new things, and I was happy that I'm going to school. And suddenly they hijack my attention, and you cannot watch to the out the window. You cannot read what you want to read. You must sit down and be quiet and look at me, pay attention, focus, pay attention, focus what is narrowing power, pay attention, even if you don't like it. It was terrible. So our freedom start from our attention. And if we want to create mm, free and strong people from the next generation, we need to give them freedom to educate themselves. Of course, that there must be like any basic, but I believe that every kids want to learn to read, for example, or very basic math. But the freedom, for me, freedom is one of the really highest thing in my life, and the highest priority is the freedom, and therefore I respect people and I give them freedom, and I'm very strongly protecting my freedom. Actually, that's one of the reasons why I started to do martial arts, to protect my freedom. And maybe I don't look like, but for 18 years I used to work as a doorman. And one of the reasons why I was doing this job, not because I like fight, I think the fight is the most stupid thing what a human can do. But despite that, I need to go more often to the fight than the normal people. But I had a potential to protect other people. I was like with the power come a responsibility, and because I'm big, strong, and I'm good martial artist, I can be helpful to protect weaker. And
Beautiful. Yeah.
because I'm good martial artist, I can use less force and less aggression to sort out problems. And with the years, I also developed quite good conflict management techniques. So
Brilliant.
I don't need to even fight that. I can use the diplomacy, psychology, etc.
Absolutely. And I love that actually. And we do have a responsibility, I feel, as an adult to protect all children. So if there's a child that, needs protection, that any of us as an adult can step in and make sure that child is looked after until, the right person comes along. Whether that's, it could even be the police need to be called. And to help each other out. And if there is somebody being bullied or something's going on. And Tai Chi, because when I was growing up, I was very meek, very mild. And when I learned Tai Chi, I found it gave me this grounding and this strength. So I'm 5'3". I'm not a big person. And also after I'd done voice work, the power of my voice and also the chanting and everything, I have a big voice now. Didn't used to. had a head voice and much higher pitch. But now with all the training, if I see something, I'm very good at just going in and saying, this is not okay. We need to do something else here. And I'm quite happy. I stand up for myself and for others. Just a little example. I was with a friend, and this was a good year or two ago, actually, 2 years ago. And there's a little playground not too far from here. And it was quite late, and we were just sat in the playground, and I was sharing a story with my friend, and it was quite an emotional story. So I was feeling quite vulnerable, and I was quite open, but we thought we were in the park on our own. And then suddenly this massive firework went off very close to us. I'm really sort of shocked because we didn't notice. And these guys had come out, and there was a celebration at the local mosque, but they were coming out into the playground, setting off fireworks without letting people know. You know, if you're going to let off fireworks in a public space, which you're not supposed to without a license and letting people know. And so I walked straight over, and my friend, she doesn't like conflict, and she left because she's like, oh, please don't, you know, she's a Muslim lady actually. She's like, oh, please don't interfere, don't say anything, let's just run away, basically, which is what she did. But no, I went straight over and I said, you know, you could have actually hurt us because you set off a firework very close to us without letting us know. And one of the chaps, there was a lot of young, probably teenagers, and then there was an older man who they all looked up to, sorry. And he started, because he was tall, he started sort of towering over me and trying to intimidate, which I thought was hilarious because I'm not to be intimidated. Because I've done a lot of sticky hands and things like that. I know, because my center of gravity is lower, that I could easily throw this man around if I wanted to, but of course I wouldn't. I'd just use my words. And, you know, it was nonsense what he was coming out with, but I wouldn't back down. And then at some point I realized actually the power of the mobile phone video, and I got it out and started video, and he didn't like that, of course. But one of the young boys said to me after, a bit later, he said, oh, really sorry, miss, we didn't mean to, you know, do this, that wasn't our intention. And that was really sweet, because obviously these younger chaps were looking up to this big older guy, and the fact that he was like, sort of saw me as probably someone like one of his teachers at school probably, and apologized, I thought was really good, because children and teenagers are so influenced by anybody who puts themselves and say, oh, look at me, or I'm the man, or whatever, and they're not necessarily good examples. And it was really interesting. After a while they left, I went home, and there was I saw some people walking with fireworks in their hands. I mean, crazy. And there was a neighbor opposite who I hadn't met before. And I just said, look, this is just what happened. You know, I'm not someone normally to ring police and stuff like this, but it's actually dangerous what they're doing, not just for others, but also for themselves. So I said, I will ring the police in this instance. So I did. And the police said, oh, we've had multiple reports of this. I was like, okay, it's not just me being unreasonable. But that sort of, I don't even know what the word is, into just the actions of people and not caring about others. Or if you do go and question them and they're trying to intimidate you, you have to have a good foundation. And also, if it got to a point where he did want to hurt me, you know, or fight or push and shove or whatever, is okay, this is not something that I need to win. I'm not there to win. I'm just there to explain what you're doing is incorrect and you could hurt people. So I'm not there to like fight with him because that makes me feel good. I'm there to explain why they should do something else, or go back into the mosque and celebrate in the grounds of the mosque where it can be done safely. So yeah, And I feel very fortunate, and I know it's my training that through all the martial art and also the voice work, that I have that power. And I know quite a lot of people who don't. So yeah, back to you, Tibi.
Yeah, I to react for what you say, I would like to read two quotation. Albert Einstein: "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything." And other: "Silence is the face of evil. Evil is itself evil." So it is very important to stand up and say, even is not good. We need to, in Slovakia we say, we need to bring the skin to the market. We need to sacrifice something, and that was very important during the COVID. Yeah, like when I see what's happened, I was shocked, and I was shocked how easy people get rid of something what is in my priority is very high, and what is like a human rights, and then how people sacrifice human rights easily, like this, like it would be nothing, despite the best of us was dying for hundreds years to develop the freedom to this level. It's not perfect. It could be much better. However, it's good foundation for next generation. And if we have responsibility for something, at least to keep the human rights on this level. If we don't develop it, I'm working, and I believe that we can improve the human rights, and we can improve the level of freedom. But it is, for me, I understand that somebody has different priority, but I would rather die. I would rather die than lose the freedom, because the life like a slave, that it is not fair. Definitely is not for me. And but I respect that other people have different priorities. I respect that somebody is scared. Somebody is scared of life. That's the biggest fear. And we can do something also with this fear. And when we realize what we are, that is the most liberating thing. When we realize that we are not just this body with mind, but we are something more. We are something, we call it soul or spirit, or I like to call it consciousness. And there's some quality of us staying even the body gone. And if we see it and we feel it, then we are not such scared from death anymore. And it's much harder to manipulate that. And yeah, know what we are. And then we slowly going to the to the main topic, because in the dark room I realized what I am. That was the most magical and powerful and beautiful moment in my life, to realize what I am.
That's beautiful. And I want to just reflect back on that, what you've shared, and you shared quite a lot of different things there, but they want to relate. But this, yet, those wonderful quotes, and they're wonderful because they're so true, and they need to be heard. Not, they shouldn't be silenced. Because literally when we don't say, and sometimes we might be in a situation and it's not appropriate if we're putting ourselves in physical danger, but if there isn't a physical danger, that we can speak up there, or we can report it later, or we can ask for help. So one of the big things I found that really made a big difference is asking for help. We can't do everything, we all have different skills, but there's some things that we're not great at. So when we're not good at something, or we're maybe sick or something like that, ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. So it's just like when angels need permission to help you, for instance, but also asking humans, good people. So for instance, when you mention, people who are not really living and they're just stuck in fear, and COVID, wow, what an incredible experiment on the globe. And I knew a lot of people who were like, suddenly they were the outcast because they weren't getting the jab. And even in my own family, there was somebody who said to me, because they watch the news constantly, I don't have TV, I don't watch news, but they fed all the feeding, the programming of the fear put on them. And they knew that myself and also my brother at the time, he didn't get jabbed either. And they were like, are you trying to kill me? Because we were due to go visit. And I was like, what do you mean, kill you? You haven't been jabbed. I was like, what do you mean? And I was just like, they totally eaten, digested, and believed the lies. And it was all lies. And I couldn't even, occasionally, I might go on the BBC website or something. As soon as Boris came on, because it's just pure lies coming out of his mouth, I couldn't, if I just heard him say a few words, I had to switch it off, because it made me feel sick to my stomach. How can somebody be voted in and kept in who is lying, so obviously lying? So I'll go back to you, and then I'll add my last bit in. Go on, Tibi.
And it was the most funny thing. There wasn't logical. There has not logic. These people, there was in the fear, and when we are in fear, we are our rational thinking is closed, is shut. We are. It's easy to manipulate us, because normally, if there was thinking rationally, they would say, okay, I have a job. A job is protecting me, so I cannot get them. If that job is working, I cannot have the virus. So how you can kill them? How you can kill them if they have job? I'm saying, you have job, you are safe, you are fine. I take myself to risk. But in my opinion, it was much bigger risk to take this experimental job. If people ask me, are you taking job? I say, you know what? I trust my natural immunity system. How you can trust your immunity system? Look like there is that thousands and thousand generation of my ancestors who survive. I'm here. That's proof that the immunity system is good and is working. And if something is working well, I prefer to keep status quo, and I'm not going to touching something what is working such well. And then I believe to power of nature, and I have a personal experience contact with God. So I believe that we are designed and prepared the best way as we can be. And if we become involved into the system, which is very precisely balanced, and the homeostasis is one of the best, the most important principle of the universe, I'm not going to be involved because this imbalance something, and I don't know even what. We don't know how is related. Is how I wouldn't dare to touch it. If you want to take the risk, feel free to do it. But just please respect me that I believe the power of nature, and I'm experienced with God, and I believe that everything is fine, and I accept that I die, and I don't know when, maybe tomorrow, maybe in decades. I don't mind, because I know that when is the time, I just go.
Absolutely. And I actually thought it was such a missed opportunity that people weren't taught what they could do to improve their natural immunity. So this sort of experimental jab, and why didn't they do, sorry, someone's bashing something outside, so if you hear that. So why didn't we all get taught about how to, increase your vitamin D and how to reduce your inflammation? And if you're like an everyday person who doesn't have, not compromised in some way, and that maybe it's useful for them to keep distance, because they're very sick, and that, at the beginning, the first strand did cause a lot of problems for people, but then the strand mutated quite quickly. And when I got it, I think I can't remember the name of the version that they gave me. I just was in bed for 3 days and I didn't see anyone, and then I was fine. And then I've got natural immunity anyway, of that particular strain. So I was like, this is such a missed opportunity. And we obviously know, because of the money and the agendas, of course they didn't want to teach us or share or help people. That would have been absolutely delightful if they did. But I do hope, because when they do next time, whatever version they put out in the world next time, that there's enough people who are going, hang on a minute, you've done this to us before, we're not going down that route again. And there's gifts from this, and that's one of the gifts of people like waking up. I spoke to a chap yesterday and he's like, oh, got sirens going, they're coming to get me. He said he got the jab, he got one, and then he woke up to the truth, and he's like, okay, no more, because people got multiple jabs. So he followed the rhetoric until the point it was just like, okay, this is not making sense, actually I'm going to stop now. And for him, he's like, if they do it again, I'm not going to run to go get this, technology put into my body, which is great to hear. And anybody who's listening who got jabbed once or multiple times, we're not saying you did anything wrong. I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, there's this like those who've been jabbed and those who haven't, and that we're on our high horse because we didn't get it done. And now all the information's coming out about all the problems with the jab and the spike protein. And do know that you can get rid of the spike protein. There are protocols, and there are protocols to help people with long COVID. All of this can be sorted. So please, if you're somebody who's being affected by this, go seek out the people who can help, or reach out to one of us. I know certain, and maybe at the end I'll put a slide up with some links to people who do the protocols. One of my teachers, he had that available. So it was a massive global learning point and a tipping point as well. It's like, okay, and that sort of dissonance it caused in so many people. And also the social anxiety that suddenly everybody's anxious. And I'm like, when I was a kid growing up, anxiety was like, very few people had it. And if they did, it's generally very temporary. I said, oh, I'm just anxious because I got an exam. I've done the exam, I'm not anxious anymore. But there's this concept that you're constantly anxious. And I'm like, where's this coming from? And that wasn't there when I was growing up. And it concerns me that is become a norm. It's acceptable for young people to be constantly anxious. And that's not, to me, an okay thing. So back to you, Tibi.
About anxious, it's very important way how they control us, because when we are shrunk, when we are in close position physically and mentally, emotionally, then it's easy to control us, manipulate, and slave us. So therefore, slave has this is posture of slave, and this is posture of the free man. So it's the closeness, is opening, has a very, very strong affect to our freedom. So since I start working with this shrinking or expanding power, I I realized that this is one of the most important aspects, how they control us. And this is, be aware of this power is one of the key to the freedom. Therefore, if you look at the Cossacks, Cossack was one small island of freedom, and everywhere around was kind of slavery. In Europe, we have feudalism, in Asia and China, etc., India, also kind of Africa. Everywhere around was the slavery. And Cossacks was a free man. And I believe that one of the reasons why there was free man was because there was open. And when we are open, we are brave. And when we close, then we are anxious. So all the news and all the manipulation, their aim is to close us. Because when we are closed, we are not living. We are surviving. Yeah. And when we want to fully use our potential, we need to open. Same as the sunflower open to show their beauty. The sunflower is not half closed all the life. So this is linked together. And yeah, all these things. It was like, firstly I was shocked. Then I was a little bit angry, firstly, because they didn't allow me to do that. Then I was scared. Because there was like kind of proper fascism in Central Europe. There was in radio and in news and in TV. Normally they say that, okay, let's build up concentration camp for people who are not vaccinated. Like, oh, seriously? It is like somebody is called, I don't know, ultra right wing, and because they say something or have any tattoo or I don't know, but if somebody is asking to build up concentration camp, this is legal. It is. Oh, and then I start to be scared. And on the end, I was just laughing. I was laughing because it was such a ridiculous thing. I thought, oh my God, we live in catch 22. This is like a silly film. I cannot take it seriously anymore. I was laughing, and I would still like to react a little bit about the immunity. It was the winter 19. I was in the dark room, and then when I was going out, I see in the news, like all news, COVID, 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 COVID. I said, oh my God, this is not normal. I've never seen it in my life. This is very silly. It's like, okay, in China died 70 people. What is 70 people in China? It's like, I don't know, the die eliminate 70 people or something like that. That's ridiculous. And then come the virus here, and I thought that I don't believe it. It is, I think that is BS, but I don't want to laugh in fate's face. So I asked myself, okay, Tibi, how to improve your immunity? That was my question. Was firstly, okay, go outside and take as much sun as you can. And I look at the newspaper, stay at home. No, people, don't stay at home. It's dangerous virus. Go and take as much sun as you can, because the sun is the source of the power, and it improves the immunity like nothing else. Look what doing sun with the nature. And silly people stay at home or putting the creams or sunglasses protecting from the source of power. That's ridiculous. So I was going out. I was like all the time, like in very shorts, topless, catching any photon I can. Then training, training more than usually, massage myself, just cold shower, just raw food, and take off shoes. And since then, actually, I'm walking barefoot all the time, every season, barefoot, to be grounded, to let the electromagnetic energy flow through me. I'm not such silly that I would cut myself from the from the flow, and it actually helped me to improve my lifestyle. And can I tell you what I think that why there come with this COVID? What was the purpose? There is many layouts of the purpose, but main purpose was that because we are awakening. We are awakening a civilization, and they see it and they are scared of it. Because if we are awake, they cannot slave us anymore. And there was the when I realized that how desperate there must be that they try to set up this kind of fascism and with such silly excuse like is this virus, that they must be very desperate. They are desperate and they try to, there was the last try to do something, maybe now that maybe would try to do the war or something, something like that. But I realize that they are very desperate because we are awakening. And for short term, yes, they low down the vibration, they divide us and conquer us, yeah. But meantime, from long term perspective, they awake so many people that now no it was very few people would trust their silly things and their propaganda, because the light, whatever they're doing, the light switch it to the good thing. So they try to do something any dirty things and to control us, but whatever they're doing, the universe changes against them. So it is the lightness is coming if they want or don't want. And what I think that is for big part of my life, I believe that there is the hierarchy system, and we need to like fight against the tip of the hierarchy of the pyramid and take the freedom. But you know what? Now I realize that, and I believe it from my heart. I believe that also on the top of the pyramid are people are awakening, and on the top of the pyramid are people who want to change this world, and they feel in their heart that if they create the slavery, if they create the energies into air and is hurting also themselves, and many of them would like to change the system, they just don't know how to change it. But all of us is awakening, and we are blessed. We are blessed that we live in this time, because this is the most beautiful time when we are awakening. And then I believe that we're going to do the first time in our history, we're going to do next evolutionary step, and we do the step consciously. We will be fully aware what we're doing, and we're going to unite on this level that people even cannot imagine. But I I am talking a little bit too much, so I give you more.
I love everything you just said, 100%. We are in the golden age already. It's already here. More and more people waking up to this and living more of it. It's a transition of frequency. You're not necessarily going to get it necessarily. So, I mean, some people do have a big awakening and it's a big bang, but I'm more of a gradual kind of person. It's easy to, when you go gradually, you get a foundation and an anchoring. So I don't recommend sort of big bang experiences necessarily. Some people actually lose their minds, and then they have to takes a few years to get their mind back because they had a massive awakening. So I'm a little bit cautious of any practice that is forcing. Never do a practice. My brother did that, and he had a big kundalini, it got stuck in his chest, and he had a psychotic break, and blah blah blah. So from personal experience through him, and also what my teachers, Tai Chi teachers, like, I don't know if you've come across Bruce Francis, an amazing American martial artist, and he was like, you've got to be very careful what you practice and make sure you have a good teacher, because some of these practices, if you haven't prepared your body, but then the chi is flowing very strongly, and the circuitry can literally just, it's like a fuse box and it explodes. So be careful, and always find a good teacher when you're starting out on your journeys and you're delving into whatever you choose to delve and explore. Find good people, And books are great, but books don't answer questions, and books don't check that you're doing things correctly. So books are brilliant. However, having a live teacher is, I think, really important. And I've had lots of incredible teachers. And, you know, I'm the forever student. So I'm always gathering and refining. And Jim and I spoke about this the other day. It's just like, okay, you know, I'm here at the moment. Actually, a good example was Tai Chi. My teacher said, when you first do it, it's a bit like a box. You know, you're being very sort of mechanical, box-like. And then you get better. Then, oh, it becomes more circular. And then eventually, if you practice long enough, oh, spirals are coming in. And then when you get to mastery level, you go beyond all of that and you are the Tai Chi. And it doesn't matter what movement you're doing. And you have to follow the form because you've gone beyond it. But you've got to start level one, like the box, and then into the circles, into the spirals, and then go beyond if you practice enough. And you become it, and it becomes you. So if you're feeling really stuck and you don't know who to believe because maybe you're, you know, who you're with, or, you know, where you are, you're not with people who are boosting you up and saying, oh, come on, how can we all be better? Let's support each other. Let's love each other. Let's forgive when people make mistakes. We talk about it, we walk through it, and we go, okay, how do we not do that again? You know, all these kind of things. So it's just like, reach out. You know, the internet is an incredible gift from the divine to connect us. And with the Tower of Babel, where, you know, suddenly the humanity had all these different languages, and it then became very difficult unless somebody really practiced to communicate with other people of other languages. But now these translation tools, I have some friends from all around the world, and I don't speak their languages, but, you know, the translation is really good now. And we are global. We are one people. There is, you know, the separation we were torn apart for so long. And now it's like, you know, the elastic band, you pull it, and eventually it can't stretch. So it either break or it pings back to its original state. And that's what the awakening is. We're all coming back to oneness. And we're coming back to ourselves, to the divine, and then seeing actually everybody else is the divine and us. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so excited. And we do live in the best times, this transition. And it's exciting. And to be able to be the people who are living it, breathing it, cultivating ourselves, sharing that, and, you know, bringing more awareness. And, you know, if someone's listening today and it's just, there's a little spark of like recognition, what a beautiful thing that we've done. So back to you, Tibi. Don't forget to unmute.
Okay, so firstly I would react for the word of mouth, because this is how we're supposed to learn. We of course that we can learn a lot from books, but it is not accident that Vedas, that highest or one of the highest knowledge of human civilization, was spreading just the word. It was from master to student, and there was in Vedas there is it's ban to write down the knowledge. It must be learned from master to student in person. And Vedas wasn't allowed to write down. They write it down, I don't know how many centuries BC. And that's actually, according my Vedic master, that's already show that the civilization was downhill, that it was in downfall, because normally we shouldn't write down there. And actually that's from where we Slavs has the name, because we was learning and teaching Vedas through the word, or this slovo in my language means word. So that's a very important aspect to learn from masters. And exactly as you say, the master can correct you. And yeah, all my life I was very lucky for masters, or maybe I actively choose them. Who knows? Both is probably true. And I would like to speak more about the next evolutionary step, and where we're going, because today people are a little bit don't know what to do. They see this quasi democracy is not working, or not working as we expect, and dictatorship is and totality is not what we want. So we are balancing between two wrong systems, and they are not good, neither one. So we need something else, but we haven't seen it in our history yet. So therefore, it's very hard for people to visualize it, and therefore, I think that is very important to give people a vision what we can do. And I would start from the evolutions, and I would like to show the trend of evolution, from where we're going, where we are, and what possibly the next evolutionary step. Because if we understand this, then we have the vision, and then we a little bit relax, and then we can. It's like the end light of the end of tunnel, which lead us somewhere. So we need the light. So let's have a look to the evolution. The evolution, nature, or God, call what you want, create more complex and more intelligent structure. And we can see how it comes from, I don't know, electron and neutrons, etc. create atoms. Atoms create molecules. Molecules create the first form of life, kind of bacteria and mitochondria and etc. There create cells. Cells create multi-cells organism, and multi-cells organism create society, like us, like human or ants, antelopes, bees, fish, or whatever, many example. So what is the next evolutionary step? What if we see this? And another important thing is to understand that which power, which desire create this structure. That what's the engine? What's the motivation to create these more complex and more intelligent structures? And is collaboration, because if more cells collaborate on the higher level, or the more closer, there are bigger chance to survive. So desire to survive leads us to create more complex structure. So the more complex structure, which we're going to do now, and I believe that we become aware of this, is a global collective intelligence. So such that we unite around the globe, and we, human being, we will be just a cells of something unbelievable, amazing creature, amazing being, which will be super intelligent. It is not just about intelligence, but we like talking about IQ. Let's say IQ, I don't know, like 50,000 or something like that. We cannot even imagine how intelligent it will be and how complex it will be, and how not just intelligence quotient, but creative quotient, creative potential, because it will be have a creative potential of all of us, where our potential will synergize each other. We will not losing our power and our potential in the fighting system, but our energy will merging and will synergize, and synergy is opposite power than the destroying. So it will be, it is an amazing time is in front of us, and I believe that God, universe, bring us the internet, bring us even artificial intelligence to help us to create this new being. It is just a tool from God to be able start to collaborate globally and much deeper than we even could imagine before. And that is when we start the mechanism, when it start working, and when we realize that what we're doing and we start to do it purposely, any amount, necessary amount of people, that the our development, it will be like, it will like explosion. It will be like unbelievable. In people think that we need 1,000 years or something like that. I believe that in couple of months, and when we create collective intelligence and we live, that it will be such unbelievable strong and powerful that all corporation and army and politician systems, it will be, I don't know, if you have breakfast and you have like a couple of the pieces of bread, that new being stand up, all the banks and the old structure just fell down like this. It will be said there is, it will be so strong and powerful being that all this old structure has not even theoretically chance even to do anything. It is I don't pay attention too much to this word, because for me, this is what I see in the out of the window and in the news. It's the past. It's already past. Because if we have this technology, and if I found this, if I have this attitude, the vision, I believe that many other thousands of people on the planet has the vision, and we're going there, and we're awakening, and this is nearly necessary process. So I'm very positive, and I'm happy that we are here, and I'm blessed to be active part of this process.
Absolutely. And I find it fascinating because there is a consciousness now, which people, anyone who's like connecting into the consciousness, and I'm just one of the many, there's this big theme of remembrance. And that's why I've created the Deep Return and the Remembrance Circle, is remembering who we really are. And when we are sovereign and free, the power that every individual has, and when we come together to collaborate, is extraordinary what we can create in a very short amount of time. And it is now. It's all happening now. And one of the things is community. Community is being built everywhere. People are like, let's go and live together. Because being an individual in a little box with other little boxes around is very disempowering. So I'm so incredibly grateful that my brother bought this land in Sicily, an old dilapidated farm on the base of Mount Etna. And he passed 3 years ago. And now I'm having an opportunity to take his legacy of this land and create from scratch and do it with sacred geometry, with the architecture. I've been visioned, and spirit has shown me exactly what's going to be happening. And it's fantastic. And the people who want to come and help me, they're already showing up, and I'm talking about it. And I'm going, end of September, we're going out, and there's 2 other people coming with me. And we will start documenting things. And anybody who has a passion, who like, oh, I'm a permaculture person, or I'm a chef, I'm whatever, and I want to be part of this community build, are going to be very much welcomed, because there'll be also a mission and a vision. And it's like, we can't use the old structures. They don't work. We know that. And they will fall apart when there's enough of us who've created these new structures that have integrity, that are transparent, that if you are going to come and live and contribute, then we will have rules, you know, and if you don't abide by them, we'll say thank you, no thank you, please find somewhere else, because we're not going to let any, you know, one rotten apple destroy the whole community. That's not going to happen, because we have integrity. And one of the things is, I see this as a space where there is no drugs, no alcohol, no weed. You know, the plants, we have so much medicinal things, and we have all these body techniques, you know, things that you've shared about, where we can open up, and we don't, you know, we're constricted. We don't have to go and take a pain pill. No, there'll be somebody there who maybe give you a massage, and then we will be helping you to learn the things that you can do for yourself, so you're not in pain, you're not suffering, and you don't have to turn to these things that are sticky plasters that don't sort the root cause out. Now, yes, occasionally, yeah, I mean, if you've had an accident and you need to go to a hospital and you need to have medication, you know, I'm not an extremist. I'm very rational, and I'm very middle path person. But the day-to-day is like, you know, let's celebrate life fully and be, you know, not compromise our minds by taking substances that take us to places that are not real and unhelpful from, you know, the majority. I'm not saying that there's certain things that haven't helped people and had breakthroughs, but on a day-to-day basis, if you're reliant on something like alcohol or weed and you can't function without it, then there's a problem. So it is so exciting. And I like the word creatrix. So it came to me quite a while ago. So I often say, you know, God, goddess, creatrix, because it's just that creation energy. And we're tapping in, and we're remembering who we are. We're becoming empowered. We're waking up, and we're doing it together. There's pointless me trying to do this on my own. I don't have the skills, and there's no joy if I'm not sharing it with others. The joy is in the sharing. And joy, happiness, these are not fleeting things. Peace, we can just sit in the frequency of joy, happiness, celebration, peace as our norm. And that if we're not happy and joyful and peaceful, okay, there's something we need to correct. And then once we've corrected it, we're just back to our normal glorious selves. So love that. So anything before we wrap up, Tibi, is there anything else you'd like to share, a piece of wisdom, a bit more about you, or if, you know, people want to find out more about you, obviously we'll have a slide at the end with your contact details, but anything you want to, any other lovely bit of wisdom you'd like to drop? Do unmute as well.
Okay, so I would like to say that the improvement and the changing ourselves, that we don't need to force it, that it's happened automatically. And sometimes that depends if we are in heart or we are in mind. Because mind, when they realize, oh my God, I was sleeping so far and I'm awakening, so let's to make the plan how I can awake and most efficiently and wow, do this, and then happens what you mentioned. Then happens then imbalance, and then people can the mind can make a lot of problems and lots of troubles. I would like to share my experience that how I stopped smoking weed and drinking alcohol. When I was in dark room, and then originally I thought that we're going to have a discussion about dark room, but I see that it flows us on other direction, which a very nice direction. So I think it is supposed to be. And in the dark room, basically, in the dark room, I realized that how I realized a lot of things. I was my mind was such clear and memory and everything. So I remember the moments when I was drunk, and I remember the moments when I was stoned, and I know how it affected my mind. And because my mind was under influence, that my spirit, my consciousness cannot align through the mind. So therefore, the I was in the head, and I cannot manifest my deeper layout of my being, or what I call consciousness. And so I know that I need to have a clear mind. So with alcohol, it was easy. I stopped to drink from day to day. But when I was going out, I know that I want to stop with smoking weed, but I still have desire to smoke. And I was thinking that how to do it. That I see the two way how to do it. That I do it with the willpower, and I said, okay, and now I stop because it's not good for me, and then I will be strong, etc. But that would be through ego and through the mind. And I know that if I do it this way, that I would have any inner conflict inside, and it would be like, I don't know, I'm sitting down somewhere with the friends, and then it's circulating a joint. I would take it. Actually, no. Yeah, and I would be like, that. I didn't want to have this desire. I didn't want to have this inner conflict. So, and I had feeling that I'm going to stop it anyway. It just needed time, and I don't need to force it. So I take time, and it was like couple of months, and I was smoking still less and less, and I had still bigger and bigger break. And on the end, I remember that I had like break for 3 months. And usually when I had a break from smoking, that I haven't been smoking weed for just a week, it was like a first puff. It was like, oh, it was amazing. So I was looking forward. Okay, after 3 months, the puff will be yummy, 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 yummy. And I take a puff, and I look like, why am I doing this? It's actually it's disgusting. I don't like it. I don't mean taste. I mean the my mind. So, I don't want it. And then I have no desire to take it. I have no desire to repeat it. And without the force, without this, because if we are awakening, we are, it's step by step, it's the process, and we don't need to force it. And the same is with eating meat and dairy products, and with other things. If we open our heart, and if we just have desire to be nicer, we don't need to force it, because when we do it through ego, then we hurting ourselves. And the I believe that if I hurt myself and I stop, for example, smoking, it would hurt me much more than if I'm smoking. So please, people, don't hurt yourself, and open your heart. And I know that it will sound very cheap, but yeah, heart will lead us. Heart will lead us, and when we are we are on the path. We're going to be better, better being, nicer. But we need to be patient. Don't need to force it. We need to just relax and let the the flow to lead us to really relax and be sensitive, feel it, and it will lead us to the best, the optimum path of our life.
That's exquisite explanation. Thank you so much for sharing that, because addiction is really challenging. And I love the fact that actually when you make a decision to release something from your life, whether it's cigarettes, weed, alcohol, whatever it might be, or you might be on painkillers and you don't know how to get off them, and it's actually it drops away. So it's a process and it takes time, and not to beat yourself up. And the more kind and compassionate and loving that you are, and what I do for people is when they get to the point, go, I want to really let this go now. I'm ready. I do ceremony with them, and we will work with the energy of so say it's tobacco, and we say, thank you, grandfather tobacco, for all the lessons, the gifts that you have given. However, I am now choosing to let you go, for I have learned what you have come to teach me. Thank you and goodbye. And we also release the energy. So, I mean, alcohol, they call it spirits for a reason. There is a spirit to each thing. So we literally we thank it, and then we release it from the system. So I did recently somebody who had cocaine in their life, and I'd never released cocaine from the system before, and it was fascinating. And the spirit of cocaine came it looked like a snake, and it was trying to suck me in and mesmerize me, and gave me some energy. And I was just like, oh wow, I can see now what the temptation of cocaine is. It's very alluring. And because I'd worked with other substances, but cocaine was so, oh, this is interesting. Anyway, we thanked it and we released it, and it went. And this person has made a declaration to themselves, a contract, that for them, this lifetime, no more of that. It's gone from them. Whereas the alcohol, they said, well, I want to be at a place where in the future, if I want one glass of wine, I can enjoy one glass of wine. But there won't be any benders. There won't be any, I have to have more. But if I choose to enjoy, a little bit, I can do that in the future if I want to, it still appeals. Whereas there was a total, like, no more cocaine, that's not helpful. Whereas maybe a glass of wine once in a blue moon is okay for that person. So yeah, Tibi, you've got something to add to that?
Yeah. So when I finished with alcohol, it wasn't that strict that I cannot have alcohol. It was that if I feel it that is right, I allowed myself to have alcohol, and I don't know, once per half a year, once per 3 months, I have Dead Sea of wine or half pint of beer or something like that. So I'm not strictly, I don't take it religiously, but actually the state of mind already remind me, that's the reason why I'm not drinking alcohol. Actually, I don't want it. Like it's and it is I don't, and similar it is. It was that when I stopped smoking weed, I was always a little bit scared that if I have one puff that I could be back, because I see on many of my friends that wasn't smoking for a couple of years and have one puff and start smoking regularly, and I was a little bit scared that I would be like abstinent of alcohol. That you see that they cannot drink at all because there was just one glass and I start drinking again, and then it was last winter. I was cleaning my freezer, And I forgot for that. I put from freezer stuff to the fridge, and I was going in the fridge like, oh, what's that? Ah, cake, probably from Christmas. I take the cake. Oh my God, that's that cake. That's THC cake. What I will do? What I will do? Like I was thinking to throw it out. I say, no, it is not accident. It is a synchronization. The universe want me to have this cake, so I swallow it. And I had actually beautiful time. I was like an empty stomach. So I was like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 hours. I have amazing time, and I have no desire to repeat it. I have no desire to repeat it. It happened the last winter, but then I know that okay, I don't need to be little bit scared of the wheat anymore. I know that I can have, but I don't need to repeat it. And to be honest, like this summer, friend, Gabi, I have one path. Okay, yeah, it's okay, it's nice, but it actually it still didn't call me. So it's I allowed myself to do whatever I want, and I trust myself. I trust myself because I trust universe. And I like last year, every year I learned something new. And last year I learned to really, honestly, deeply trust universe. And I know that whatever happens, universe brings me. I accept it. I'm not fighting with it. I'm just maybe curious that why I have this experience, why happens this. Uh, Maybe next time I tell you like happens like the first glance very bad things, and then I realized and I was laughing on the situation. Many people would be angry, and I'm like, the couple of months ago on the Buddha field, one guy who firstly working with me on Pravilo, he punched my tires, 3 tires with a knife. Yeah. I see like and I start laughing because I don't know for me it was very funny situation and such a beautiful place, such a beautiful energy like Buddha field is. One of the nicest festival in the UK, and somebody bring that this energy with nasty with a knife. He punched my tires, and it was actually very funny, and I was laughing on that. And on the end, I realized that actually he didn't make the damage me, but he make the damage to him because I realized that I own him 285 pounds, but the tires come 300 pounds. So actually he destroyed his 300 pounds. It was even more ridiculous. But I remember that if this happened, I don't know, 20 years ago, I would be probably angry. I would be probably sad. And I would be, oh, why this happens? When I see this, I was laughing. I was laughing that how silly things happens. And when we honestly accept what the universe brings us, but accept, it doesn't mean that we need to agree with it. It doesn't mean that we will be passive. But when we accept and we stop fighting with the faith, then the life start nicely flow, and we can live in the harmony, and then we can reach much deeper level of happiness.
Fantastic. I love that. And Butterfield is such a gorgeous festival. I've only got to go once. I've applied, but not got in. But yes, so what an actually very funny story. I love that. And I always, these days, I should say, when something comes in that's destructive potentially, or we could get emotional and angry or whatever might come, and it's just like everything for a reason. So if you go, everything comes for a reason, and there's always a gift. What is the gift? And often laughter comes hopefully quite quickly because it's absurd. A lot of the things that people say and do, and they're hurting themselves usually, as you said, it's absurd. It's a joke. The universe is actually incredibly funny. There is a cosmic joke element to this, and it's just like part of the awakening. If you meet, a lot of swamis and wise people, they often are laughing their heads off a lot of the time, because it's like, why are you taking this so seriously? It's funny. And if you are serious and it's just like, oh, but, the drummer, but. And my little joke on that is someone's going, oh, but this, but that, but this. I go, I've only got one and I sit on it. There is no other but. Because it's just like they're trying to create a story and a drama and suck you in, and it's just like, I'm not into drama karma. It's like, well, if you want to, literally, I don't even like the word, but vomit out all this rubbish and try and put it on me, I'm not interested. Really not. And I will often, like, if somebody's upset, it's like, how can we get them from crying to laughter in a nice way, not spiteful, but it's just like, lighten up the mood, tell some stupid jokes, or say, oh yeah, I had an example of this and this is what happened to me. Wasn't it terrible? Oh yeah, but you know what, actually, does it really matter? And so to spin things, so as you said, with the contraction, everything's coming in and it's becoming too much, and then, okay, let's spin it back out again and open it up, and then go to laughter, etc. Laughter is one of the best medicines. So thank you for sharing that. I would love you to come back again, because I want you to talk about the dark room, because that's a big thing just in itself. I know others who've experienced it. I haven't personally, so I'd love to hear it. So last sort of comments. We could continue, I know, but I think it'd be nice for you to come back and we can kick off from where we've left off.
One very nice guy on Czech, he got a podcast. He said that when happened something bad to him, he was on the holiday and he lost his money, and he was in summer in actually very desperate situation. He said, like, what happened, something like this, I just like sit down. If I had a popcorn like in the cinema, I take it and I look at it like in the TV, like the series. And now look forward how it will continue. How universe sort out this problem, because every problem is sorted out on the end somehow. I don't know how. Let's see how. And I am going to like the observer position. And I start to look at my situation with this desire, like in the cinema, when you're looking at how it will continue. I like this attitude that sometimes happened to me, and it is a very good perspective to see problems.
Actually, it's great. That's a great example. One of my American friends, there was something silly going on, and they had the phrase, "Oh, just pass the popcorn," as in, "Oh, this is just like being in the cinema. It's not real, and let's just enjoy ourselves and eat the popcorn and see how it unfolds. What's next in this little drama?" Because that's what we watch TV programs and films, because it's like, oh, they hook us in. It's like, oh, here's the person, and this is the big thing that happened to them, and how did they get through it? And so it's a storyline. It's like the hero's journey. But so we get our popcorn, it's like, oh, what's going on? So when we can go into observer mode, and when I take my clients, often we regress to other places and spaces, and I go, you're not going to go feel emotion. You're not going to relive anything. You're going as an investigator to observe, and to resolve. And also it might be quite funny, because when you look back on things, you're like, oh, well, actually now there's no emotion there. I've had enough space and time, that spaciousness, to actually look at it and have a different perspective. So brilliant. Tibi, at some point we'd love you to come back and we will continue. But I think for now, thank you to all those who got to this point and joined us for the whole journey. And there was some real wisdom points in this podcast. And, feel free to get in touch with Tibi, myself, or anybody who's sharing this kind of information. Put yourself with good people if you can, even if it's just internet, you're talking to people from wherever in the world, and they're explaining, and they're a place where you can ask questions and get help. So we can all help each other. So please don't think you're not worthy. You are 100% worthy to be enlightened, live in the golden age, have fun, be at peace, and share. There is no hierarchy here. Everybody is equal. So reach out if you need it. If you're somebody like us and you would love to come on and share your perspective, your pathways, please get in touch. We'd love to do podcasts with lots of different people and their stories. And thank you, and bless everybody. And I'm going to finish with our 3 breaths, which I've decided is a nice way to finish. So if you're in a space where you can take 3 breaths, we'll do that. But Tibi has one more thing to say.
I would like to say thank you for the nice discussion. I feel very nice, relaxed, comfortable. Thank you for inviting me, and and thank you for your attention or watching this video. Hopefully it will be somehow useful for you, and I'm looking forward hopefully to see you next time.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tibi. So I invite everybody who's listening, and also to us, 3 breaths in your own time before we say goodbye. So taking a nice in breath. Thank you so much. Lots of love, and we look forward to the next one. Bye for now.
Let's open a portal, dive inside. What frequencies are humming? What kaleidoscope of colors are buzzing?